Okay, so logarithms, right? Who cares, right? Why are logs that important? Well, I will tell you why. They are important to human survival. So humans, to survive, it's really important that we can tell that super loud sounds like fire alarms or thunder or volcanoes or earthquakes are definitely louder than a dog barking. So that we need to be able to perceive. It is also important for our survival that we can hear the difference between, a bad person tiptoeing up behind us, which is a very subtle sound, and a baby crying in the other room. So survival-wise, it matters that we can tell small distinctions when the sensory input is small, but it is not so important that we be able to tell those same differences when things are big. I don't need to know if a volcano is louder than an earthquake to survive. And so our brains, over millennia, have evolved to be optimized to detect small differences between small sights, sounds, smells, and so on. But we really lose the ability to tell those same differences once things get big. And what that means is that our perception does not reflect reality at all. So it's all about perception and the way that we see or exist in the world. You have never heard the world as it is. You've only heard a logarithmically compressed version of it. So a fire alarm is thousands of times louder than a dog barking, but our brains can't actually process that difference. And the decibel scale, which measures actual sound wave power versus how we perceive it, says that for a sound to sound twice as loud, it needs to have 10 times the power. Exponentially increasing sound strength is perceived of as constantly increasing loudness. You've never tasted the world as it is. The Scoville scale measures how much capsaicin is in a chili pepper. But in order for one pepper to taste twice as spicy to us, it actually has to have 10 times the amount of capsaicin. So in other words, exponentially increasing capsaicin is perceived of as constantly increasing spiciness. You have never seen the world as it is. If I'm looking out an airplane window, this tiny fraction of my field of view shows me 3 or 4 feet of an airplane wing, but that same fraction might show me 100 miles of distance. And so our optic nerves are logarithmically compressing the visual input that comes to our brains. Exponentially increasing distance is perceived as constantly decreasing distance. So our perception is a logarithmic function. And there are many who believe that autism itself is caused by our perceptional or logarithmic dampeners failing. And so instead of having our survival, this impulse that dampens and logarithmically compresses the world, some of us don't have that as much, which means we're getting all of the sensory input. Imagine if you looked out the airplane window and you could actually see every detail for hundreds of miles. It might make things really hard. So in order to survive, we listen, we hear, we taste, we smell, we feel everything in a logarithmic bubble. And that's why logarithms are important.